Hi, this is our deliverable 2 for deliverable 1 for group Google. Second meeting. We met on October 2nd to refine and get our class diagrams and use case diagrams. This is our second meeting to refine our responses and record our screencast. Next will be our design principles.
Going into our design principles, we really wanted to focus on the KISS principle of keeping everything simple and kind of stupid to not create unnecessary complexity, as well as the single responsibility principle to ensure that our classes only have one reason to change, so that way they're manageable and they're kind of clear. And then the interface segregation principle as well, to kind of have users not interact with interfaces they don't need to, and keep everything kind of streamlined and role specific. So now on to our design constraints.
As far as the design constraints, we figured there are two main design constraints we'll need to worry about following for the system, and that's security and scalability. Scalability mainly because we're going to have a lot of users all storing potentially a lot of information depending on how many races they go through. And security is also important because we're going to be holding credit card information for users, and we need to make sure unauthorized users aren't accessing that credit card information. And up next, we got our diagrams.
So this is our first class diagram that we came up with. It is a bit high level, just kind of getting a flow of how our system works. We have our racer, organizer, and administrator inheriting from or overwriting the abstract class user, and then our relationships between race and license. And then we have a bit more of a in detail class diagram right here, showing our multiplicities and relationships more in depth. We were thinking about adding on a different UI class that will connect to our system for each different type of user, relating to the constraints and principles that we mentioned above. And then this will be our use case diagram.
So the use case diagram has 4 different actors. It has the guest, racer, administrator, and organizer. The organizer is responsible for managing all of the different races that are within the system. The administrator is responsible for managing all of the different users that are in the system. And the guest and racer are 2 very similar actors. The main difference is that the racer is able to enter official races and they don't need to buy a license. The guest can buy a license and become a racer, and they can also enter a non-official race. And they can both also review races at the end. And that is the use case diagram.